Hello ladies and gentlemen, today in War Thunder we're going to be talking about the new major update which just hit War Thunder, update 1.47, labelled Big Guns. Now I think a better description of this would be immersion factor or something like that, because there is a lot of stuff which has been added which basically adds immersion to the game. You actually feel like you're there kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this in parts because I'm trying a different method and it's going to take a lot of editing, so it makes more sense to do it in parts. So the first part, which is this one, will talk about general changes. I'm basically using their changelog as a guideline. I'll put it in the description for you. So let's get started. All this stuff is, by the way, all my opinions and everything, so you know, it's what I think, and then we can discuss overall what you think. So to start off, we have binocular views, or the Binoculars View. It's been added in ground forces. This is basically a commander's view, which is very nice. It does look interesting. I really like it. I hope this is kind of like a in development thing, because obviously it's the same for all vehicles. So it would be nice if at the end of the day, when we have like all of the interiors of tanks done, I hope they do that, we'll also have specific binoculars done for each tank and stuff, or you know, or ground vehicle. But the thing is, this is a long way off, so this is the first step in a journey forward, I think, when it comes to commander's views and everything like that. It does really remind me of the commander's view in Red Orchestra 2, which I thought was, it's basically the perfect way of doing a tank model. Red Orchestra 2 does it very well. So it's nice to see War Thunder taking some of the ideas and putting them into their own game. The same goes for the driver view, which has also been added. It is basically just a square box and with a turret at the top, and that's about it. But once again, for creating videos, especially like historical ones and stuff like that, it does add something to it and makes it easier. For immersion, it adds immersion, and maybe in simulator battles we will have to use these views. Just one thing on the binoculars view, I can't figure out how to shoot the damn gun while I'm in it. So if anybody has or knows how to do it, all my controls are set up to sort it out, but for some reason it doesn't want to fire. But maybe that's a glitch or a bug or something, we'll see. But yeah, there's just two views which are nice in ground vehicles, and as I said, I believe these are the first step towards creating interiors and stuff for tanks, which is nice to see. So the driver mode control method has also been added. That's basically the method where your driver is on autopilot and he tries to go as fast as you can, and where you point your turret, your driver will go. So if you don't like pressing W and S on the keyboard, or Q and E, then this is the mode for you. I mean, it's kind of useless in a way for me personally, but I can understand how other people will use it. The Contrail effect for aircraft has also been added, and basically the Contrail effect is, let's see, it's basically when you have a lot of condensing moisture around at low air temperatures, usually at high altitudes, and while the plane is flying through it, it basically creates like a smoke trail. So spotting jets and stuff at higher altitudes, and even other planes, maybe if it's added in, then it will be easier to spot them, and it will help in simulator battles and stuff like that. But overall, it's not a massive change, but once again, it's one of these immersion factors, which is nice to see. Another one is obviously the heat compression effect from firing the tank cannon. Now, if you haven't seen this, I will be putting videos along with this audio to show everything. It is wonderful. It looks beautiful. It sounds beautiful. And that is something that I believe the tanks really needed. When you fired an 88mm, you didn't feel like there was anything behind it, really. I mean, the sound was there, but everything else wasn't really there when it came to actually physically seeing the effects and stuff. But now, oh, it looks absolutely glorious. Also, different terrain settings have been added for ground forces locations. So basically, I'll show this, I will demonstrate it on Poland. On Poland, you now can, while you go along, you create tracks. Also, there's been divots added and stuff like that. So basically, you can set up ambushing points in the village. And this is the same with all of the maps. Even the test drive map, there's like little holes and little dinky things, and basically you can manipulate some of the terrain, not to a massive degree, but I think this will be very useful in simulator battles and even realistic, where basically you want to see where the enemy is, so you can look on the ground, maybe there's some tracks around, and you can just be like, oh, they went that way, okay, let's go follow them, stuff like that. So that's kind of nice. And then obviously you have dirt, improved shells, and cockpit camera. All of these things, which are once again just immersion factors. But back to the different terrain settings, we shall see how far they push this. What I would love to do is, as I talked about previously, where it gets to a point where you can get maybe the Sherman with a scoop on the front, and you're able to create a little barrier of mud between you and the enemy, and that is where you hold out, and that's where you hold the point. But we shall see how far they take it. At the moment, once again, it's in its early stages, like a lot of these things, and it looks promising, which is a way of describing basically all these changes. They are not fully there yet, but it is basically a step forward, which is good. So another thing is the ability to switch on lights in cockpits, added to certain aircraft. Now, this isn't a huge thing. It really isn't a massive thing. Like, it looks nice, it makes everything shiny, especially at night. Everybody loves night battles, I wish they were more frequent. But it's a little thing. Like a lot of these, just a little thing, which is quite nice. And also that carries on to stuff like the ability to open the canopy. So, I'm going to use one of the SU-2s as an example, because you can turn on the lights and open the canopy, which is a nice little immersion thing. And the thing I like about the canopy that they've done, basically how it works is, when you're on the ground, it moves quite fast. When it's going backwards and forwards, like opening and closing. But when you're in the air, it opens very quickly, which makes sense because there is wind, or, well, not wind, but air pushing it backwards. But pulling it forwards again to try and close it, it takes a hell of a long time. And I think that's just a nice little feature, which is nice to see. I'm not sure if it creates more drag or anything. I haven't found or felt anything different when I've been flying aircraft with open canopies compared to closed, but maybe that's a feature that will be added in, or already is there, I just haven't felt it. Another thing to add in is the sounds. The sounds are really, really nice when you open the canopy. It's not just dead sound. There is actually, you can hear the air rushing past your cockpit, which is something that is once again very nice. So a big feature that has been added is these everyday login awards. So if you log in on day 1, you get a box. If you log in on day 2, you get another, yada yada yada, as you keep going on. And basically they'll reset if you miss a day or anything like that, and you basically get these little awards, usually like plus 10% lines or plus 10% RP, and you can choose when to use them and stuff. Like right now I have plus 10% RP to all allies and plus 10% lions from a battle, which is nice. And it's a feature that it basically brings people to the game every day. Even just to open it, just to get this little booster. It is kind of sad that they took away the ×2s and the ×5s, but I think this is definitely a good replacement. I think this replacement is completely fine in the grand scheme of things, because it even gives you the abilities to sometimes, if you're really lucky, to unlock premium vehicles. Now, something added onto this is obviously very much a free-to-play thing, is this idea of the item shop. Now, you can purchase different trophies, such as rookie trophies or certain boosters and everything like that, and you have the chance of unlocking a vehicle, but you also have the chance of unlocking tons of different wages and or lions or premium accounts or golden eagles. So you are taking a bit of a risk. This is a randomly generated thing, which I'm fine with, because in certain cases, like the first one, right, if you purchase it, it's 299 golden eagles, not a ton of money. I probably won't be using this myself, but still, it's there. And you have the ability of unlocking an M46 Tiger, or the medium tank M46 pattern of the 73rd Tank Battalion, which is a 6.7er tank, 6.7 tank, and it is worth 6,090 eagles. So if you unlock this from a 300 golden eagle rookie trophy, then you're doing yourself alright. But even if you don't, you have all these different wages that you may get, which are still really nice. They give you, you know, if you basically put this wager down, and if you beat it, then you get silver lions out of it. You can also get 120,000 lions, which doesn't seem like a lot, but a lot of people seem to be hurting for lions to unlock stuff, so that's kind of nice. Premium account for 3 days is wonderful. I think that's really, really good. If we look at that, 1 day is 190 golden eagles on this. So basically, if you get a premium account for 3 days for 299 eagles, you're doing well for yourself. And then you can get back 300 eagles. So basically, you can open this crate for 299 and get 300 golden eagles. So you get 1 golden eagle for wasting your time thinking about it. But I like this little feature. It is very free-to-play-y, but it's not really that freemium because you get free stuff every day. You don't have to try these boxes. I would like to know the percentage of actually getting stuff on them, just so it's not too unfair. Like, if it's 0.00001% chance of getting one of these vehicles, then yes, obviously that isn't very fair. But if it's a decent chance, maybe even just 2%, because I think that's a decent chance, looking at the prices of these vehicles that you can get, then I'd be okay with it. I'd be completely fine with that. Also added in, they've added back in the old artillery strike camera for arcade battles. Basically the new one, it was seen, it didn't cover enough of the map and stuff like that, so people complained about it. I didn't have a massive issue with it at all. I thought it was completely fine, but obviously some people had an issue with it, so they changed it back. Isn't it nice that they are actually listening to the community on some things? So they've also changed something which is another realistic factor or immersion factor. They've changed the new type of bomb delay fuse. It's been added and it's called auto. This, as in their own words, it works similar to fuses historically used for attack aircraft, i.e. bomb will explode after it hits, but not faster than after a certain fixed time, 10 seconds at the moment. So that's nice. Basically, they've tried and make bomb delay fuses as realistic as possible, which is quite a tough thing because there are so many different delay fuses out there, especially in World War II, that just picking a certain type is very hard. It may be kind of annoying going after moving vehicles with these things, so if you are using auto, I would definitely go after stuff like pillboxes and things, just in case like your bomb bounces around or the vehicle moves, because obviously a pillbox is kind of stuck there, so you don't have to worry about it. An auto fuse delay is set for all ground attack aircraft in air battle events for ground forces arcade battles. I'm fine with this. It basically means that as a tanker you can hear the bomb coming down, you can hear the bomb land. It gives you a lot of time to get out of the way. You can even see the plane overhead and everything. So I'm completely fine with that. It means that it gives the tankers a bit more chance against the aircraft. As we all know, aircraft easily beat out tanks. And there is no discussion there. An aircraft beats a tank. So it is nice that they are trying to add in little areas that means that a tank can at least survive. Not kill an aircraft, but survive against something like an aircraft. So something else has been added which I'm not really sure about. It's called the neutral turn ability. Has been created in some vehicles according to historical information. The Panther, the Tiger 1, the Tiger 2, the Jagdpanther and the Mouse currently. So I believe this is one track moving and the other one not, or one track moving forward and one track moving back, basically making your traverse a lot better. Now, I haven't seen this in game, I'm not sure if it's working yet, or maybe I just have the wrong end of the stick and I don't know which one it is. And the last point on the general changes, or the immersion factor that I like to call it, is that the shells in Death Camera will represent their type. another little change which makes a big difference. It means that you know what killed you, it means that you can see it coming down and everything like that, instead of just a generic shell, which, you know, it's just a little change, which just makes that gameplay just a little bit better. And that's the way I see all of these. A lot of stuff is work in progress on general changes, like the interior of tanks, the terrain settings and everything like that. But it is going somewhere. You can see an end goal, which is very nice. So overall, the general changes are good. There's no bad stuff here, really. It's just, there's improved things. The only issue is obviously it will be with frame rates and stuff like that for people with lower end systems. But the thing is, a lot of these things can be turned off, so it won't really affect you if you don't want them. So in part 2 I'll talk about the new vehicles and probably flight models, so I'll catch you then.